Why hello everybody, it's Tephrite here, bringing you another video, and today we're going to be ranking the new Season 4 champions in Paladins, including the new character Yagorath, who has just joined in the tank role. So obviously there have been a lot of buffs and nerfs in this patch, so I wanted to go through and just, give my opinions on them. I have the new tiers laid out here. As you can see, we have S tier, which is a pick or ban kind of tier. A is a good pick, so if you have them on your team, you're pretty solid there. B is average. There are better people who you could pick in those roles, but you can still pick them if you're good at them. C definitely need a buff, and D just don't. Just don't. All right, let's go. So the first person we're going to go through is Androxus. So Androxus, I think, is in A tier. He's pretty good. He's probably one of the best flanks, so I might actually put him into S tier. But I'm going to leave him in A tier just because I feel like on long range maps he gets countered quite a bit, but otherwise I think he's a really good pick. He's really strong on burst too. It was, like I said, one of the best flanks probably out there. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead with Ashe now. Ashe I'm putting into A tier too. I think Ashe is really good just because her ult makes her last so long. She has a really good shield, which is a moving shield also. She has great CC with her punt and also with her right click, so I think she's got quite a lot of good spacing as a tank. Next I'm gonna go with Atlas. Atlas I think is also a good tank, but it depends on how good you play him. Like to a new player, he's not that easy to pick up, so I would say you put him down here. But if you do end up playing Atlas, you can get really he can be really strong and really impactful in games. So just something you want to be wary of probably. Next up we're going to pick Barrick. Barrick actually got a buff, probably a buff in the way of his playstyle. So basically his turrets got nerfed, but his main damage actually got buffed. So I think he's better in the tank matchup, so tank v tank kind of thing. I think he's a lot better now. I still think he's a pick or ban kind of champion, so if he's really good against flanks too, because his turrets and his shields are still there, so he really annoy flanks. But he's also a lot better in the tank matchup now, I think. Bomb King is one of those map, I'm gonna put him on average just because he's one of those map reliant and also team comp reliant characters. Like heavily relies on their team comp. If they're running one tank, for example, Bomb King probably isn't the way to go. It's the same with Dredge, I guess. I'd actually probably put Dredge in the same tier. Maybe I'd put him, yeah, I'd put him in the same tier, yeah. Actually, maybe I'll put Bomb King here. The only reason I want to put Dredge higher than Bomb King is because of the zoning potential that Dredge has. Dredge has his right click, and also he has his cripple, and just having those two abilities gives him a lot more of a zoning potential. So I would like to put him in B probably, and put Bomb King in C just because the damage isn't very reliant, but the zoning potential that they could bring is still there. Buck, I'll probably put in. I'll probably say A tier. His self-heal is just insanely good. It's on such a short cooldown. He has a cripple too, and also he has his he just does a lot of damage. He gets the job done, so I think he's a really good flanker. Cassie, I want to put an S tier. I think Cassie's damage, once you get good with her, is just insane. She has also her sort of infinite roll spec she can go, and I think just having that kind of mobility whilst also dealing as high DPS as she does is just insane. I think she definitely needs to be toned down a bit. Corvus, I think I'm gonna put Corvus in A. His healing is still good. He's still good against flanks. I feel like his ultimate's still a bit hit or miss. He's not as good as he used to be after the nerf, but I still think he's a pretty decent pick. Drogos, I want to say, is average. Drogo is also one of those characters which is very team comp reliant. He can be countered very easily once he's in the air. If they have at least one hit scan, they have like a Lian, a Tyra, which I'm going to get to in a minute because both those characters are really good picks. But yeah, if they have any of those on their team, you're just going to get shut down pretty quickly. Even Kinessa, to be honest. So yeah, I would put Drogos higher because of the amount of DPS he can put out, and also the zoning potential that he has, and the fact that he has an instant one-shot pretty much with his ultimate against tanks, which is insanely good. But I just feel like he gets countered too easily because he's an air champion and a projectile champion. Next, I'm going to be putting Evie. Evie, I'm going to say, is an average tier, just because I feel like in right hand, she's a really good pick, and she can be extremely strong, but she can also be countered pretty easily. Yeah, her double blink just makes her insanely strong. Actually, I might actually put her into a higher tier. No, I'll keep her in there just because also she's a projectile champion, so it's not as easy to hit. She's really good against double tank. Not good against you know, but a lot of cripple. Like Jenos, for example, she's really good. She's not very good against Jenos, which is a high pick in my opinion. But I feel like if she's in the right hand, she can deal a lot of damage. And so actually, I might put her in good picks, to be honest. Yeah, let's just put her there. Next up, I'm gonna be going with Fernando. Fernando, I think is a very good character. I want to say slightly above average. Yeah, I'll put him up. No, just to avoid cluttering the A tier, I'm gonna put him in B tier, just because his ult counters quite a lot of stuff, especially Skye ult, for example. His shield just gives a lot of point tank potential. We don't have that many point tanks in the game, to be honest, so I think having him is a very good pick. Yeah, I think he has a lot of potential. I just feel like he can't impact the game as much as he would other characters can, like Ashe can, Atlas can too. I think Makoa can too, but I will get into those later. But yeah, I still think he's a very good pick. Next we have Furia. Furia's a good pick too. She has quite a lot of healing. She can go in the damage build too, which does quite a lot of damage too, and her CC is just her CC can be very good, and she's also she counters quite a few people too. Like for example, the new character Yagorath, she counters her pretty hard, to be honest. Yeah. Next, I'm gonna go into Grohk. Grohk, I think is I think Grohk's average. I don't think he's a very good healer. His totems can just get killed instantly, and you know, he has no healing. Then if he goes damage, then he does quite a lot of damage, and he's a really good DPS character. But as a healer, I think he can be doing a lot more. They're just better picks in general. Like Corvus is a lot better of a pick. Jenos is too. Io, I might say is a better pick. Ying too. So yeah, they're just better picks to go with, to be honest. All right, next up we have Grover. Grover, I think, is a very good pick. I'm gonna put him in A. He has such good such good damage, especially on long range. He can be doing a ton of damage, and he also doesn't have to reload, so consistent damage all the way through. He has also passive healing, which is really good for the team. He also has his burst healing, especially with his ult. It almost feels like nobody dies in his ult, unless you got full cauterize. Yeah, he also has a root, so obviously CC, just like Furia, is very good. Grohk, that's the one thing Grohk doesn't have. He just has high DPS. He doesn't have any CC. His ultimate can be very good in team fights, but I feel like, you know, just Grover just does a better job all over the place. Next up is Imani. I feel like I want to put her average. She can be a good pick, but I feel like her ultimate is very good at zoning and basically one-shotting anybody who comes into her. But I just feel like there's a lot better picks. Like if you were to pick like any other DPS, like Lian or Tyra or Kinessa even, literally almost any other DPS in the roster can do more than she can, I think. Next we're gonna have Inara. Inara is one of those tanks which can be very good. Her cripple can also be really good in winning that 1v1 in the tank battle, so I'm gonna put her in A. There are also, yeah, better picks to go with, but I feel like Inara is just pretty self-reliant, to be honest. She has quite a lot of damage reduction too, so yeah, I just think she's pretty good. Next up we have Io. Io used to be an S tier just because of her ability to make 5v5 pushes, or as soon as you cap the point you can push up as a 5 and zone out, and the Luna will just, you know, push the point on her own. But I feel like Io, just because of that nerf, isn't as good. I still think she's a really good pick though. I wouldn't say she's S tier, like pick ban worthy. I still think she's a decent pick, on the same lines as Furia and Grover. She's situational. She has a pretty similar healing output to Grover, in my opinion, but she has quite a lot of DPS too, and she has a CC coming out of Luna, and she can also have damage reduction with Luna, which I think is really good. Next up we have Jenos. Jenos I think is probably the best out of all these healers. I'm gonna put him in S tier, even though he got nerfed recently. His damage increase got nerfed from 15 to 10%, but I still think he's a really good pick. He still has that CC and cripple potential. He buffs people, and also he's the only character who can heal through walls, which I think is just an insane mechanic for a healer, to be able to heal through walls, which means you can heal from safety, which is really good. Next up we have Khan. I'm going to put Khan up here in A tier. I think Khan's ability to self-heal and heal other people, whilst also being able to literally boot people out of the map, similar to Torvald. It's just insane off-tank potential. You never really want to play him as a main tank, but I think as an off-tank he's really good. Next up we got Kinessa. Kinessa I think is still in A tier. I feel like she's very map dependent though. Yeah, I feel like if you pick her on specific maps, she can be really good. Obviously, her damage output is just insane, especially with her ultimate. She has quickfire, and now she can max shot even faster, so I think she's even better than she was before. But obviously, with the new flankers, or not new flankers, with a lot of flankers being played, yeah, she can get countered pretty easily. But I think a good Kinessa can just dominate games. No questions asked. Next up, we got Koga. I'm gonna put Koga on B. I think he's a pretty good flanker, but I feel like there are other characters who can do better. His Dragon Fangs does a lot of damage, and I feel like that's the only really way you should play him now. Since his machine guns got nerfed, and essentially his entire kit got nerfed because Adrenaline Junkie got nerfed. I still think he's a good pick, but not a really good pick. So I wouldn't put him in A. I'd put him in B because he's average. Like if you get him on your team, you're like, okay, we can do this. Like this is decent. Bulking, I feel like that's not happening. Next we're gonna go with Lex. I feel like he's been getting buffed, but I still think he needs more buffs. He got a quality of life change recently. I feel like that could be done a lot better. Obviously he can now like slide in the air, and yeah, just hold down to shoot. I feel like there's a lot more they can do with him, and I can't wait to see what they can do. And I think they can put him up to an A tier, which is a bit of a damage buff, to be honest. That's all he really needs. Next up we're gonna go with Lian. Lian I think is a very good pick. Probably one of the best DPS you can play, besides Tyra in my opinion. Tyra's damage output is just insane, but Lian's pretty good. Lian's ultimate, being able to do that much damage in just one shot is just madness. Having that slide whilst also having an auto shot. And I think she has 2 auto shots if I'm not mistaken. Just having that kind of reliability and also maneuverability that Tyra doesn't have actually is just really good. Maeve. I think Maeve is one of those characters similar to Evie, where if you're good with her, she can be really deadly. She can be countered by on specific maps, and just like for example, if you're playing Cassie, she counters her pretty well. Jenos also can counter her if she's being focused by him. She's still a really good pick, but I feel like there are like characters like Jin that can do her job better. But yeah, I think she's still a really good character, which is why I main her. Next up we got Makoa. Makoa I still think is an S tier. Makoa's half shell is just insane. Being able to drop your shell and have that 360 shield around you, which is basically what Barrick has on his ult. And also being able to hook people into it, and so basically just having that shell gives you point control for days. And then being able to hook people as soon as they come into you, or even just hooking people off of your healers, and being able to basically practically one-shot people. I know you can almost one-shot Maeve with the combo of left click hook, left click, and then shell into them. So being able to do that much damage as a tank, and also protect your healers and capture point is just insane. Next up we got Maldamba. Maldamba's a really good pick too. I think probably the best healer at the moment. I want to put him above Corvus. Yeah, I feel like Maldamba's healing output is just really good. He has his right click, and also he has his potions. His potions also do damage, which is pretty good. And he has 2 forms of CC. Now having CC, every healer has CC practically. Yagorath has his root, Furia has her stun, Jenos has his lift, and I also has Luna for her stuns. But having 2 forms, so having a stun every time you reload, and then also having a fear, an AoE fear, is just insane. So I feel like Maldamba's probably the best pick you can go for as a healer. Moji, I feel like needs a buff. He's good in low ranks, I would say, but I feel like as soon as you start picking him in higher ranks, people just stay away from you, and at range you're just trash essentially. Just don't pick Moji. That's what I'm saying. Pip, I'm gonna put an average. Pip has a really, he's got good maneuverability. He's got good healing, with decent healing, I guess. I'll say similar to Grohk, yeah, except Pip has his ultimate, so actually I'm gonna put him above Grohk. Oh, there we go. His ultimate can be really good for last minute, like turning fights, especially against good AoE with good AoE teams. So I feel like Pip can be good, but it's just, you know, better picks you can go for, in my opinion. Raum is one of those things where I'm gonna put him in average, just because he soaks up a lot of damage, like a lot of damage. But now in the current meta, where Tyra is being picked almost every game, having that cripple basically negates your run. You have no shield. You have no real form of CC besides your run to knock up. So I feel like Raum, there's just a lot better characters you can pick up besides Raum, to be honest. He's just an ult battery at this point. So actually I might put him in here, the need buff. Ruckus I think is average. There are better flankers or flank tanks you can go. His self shield is pretty good. His burst damage can be very, very good too, but I feel like there's just, yeah, better picks you can go for as a tank. And you don't really want to be picking Ruckus. Next up we got Seris. Seris I think is, ooh, she did get buffed, but I feel like Seris is still a, I think just because of her ultimate, I'm going to put Seris on a good pick. She gets actually picked quite a lot nowadays. I'm seeing her picked or banned actually, just because of the fact that she has her ultimate, which can like pull you from fucking miles away, pull the entire team in. And it's with someone like Jenos, if you go like DPS Jenos for example, or even just anybody with like AoE damage, even if you go with an Androxus and you just ult, ulting into that ult and having the ult combo can basically just wipe out the entire team, which is like insane damage. Or even just an Evie just shooting into that, you just do insane damage. Sha Lin is going into S tier. I feel like Sha Lin's ultimate is just too good. Being able to shoot really quickly whilst you're invisible. Yes, I know Illuminate exists, but I feel like having that much DPS whilst you're invisible is just something that shouldn't be a thing and should definitely be nerfed. He also has his cripple shot, which makes him good against flankers. And also good against, you know, characters like Raum, and also characters like Yagorath now. But yeah, so I think definitely S tier. Skye I feel like can be good. I feel like I'm gonna put her average. I feel like yeah, I'll put her S tier actually. Yeah, let's put her S tier. I feel like Buck does a better job of what she's trying to do. Her ultimate's kind of useless. Once you get to the high tiers, you know, you have so many counters to it, like just shields or like walls, just getting behind a wall counters it. She can be very good like kind of supportive flank, so if you go with a healing build, you can stick with your Tyra, you know, and you can do quite a lot of damage there that way. Yeah, so I feel like she can be a good pick, and she's a good pick the majority of the time. And she forces obviously the enemy team to buy Illuminate. If they're not, you can punish them for it. But yeah. Strix, I feel like if you're just gonna pick a sniper, just pick Kinessa, to be honest. Like, yeah, I get he can go invisible whilst he snipes, but I feel like it's not as useful. Like, he doesn't have as good of an escape mechanic as Kinessa does. She has a TP, which gives her a free shot as soon as she TPs out of it. So yeah, I just feel like if you're gonna pick the character to snipe with, just pick Kinessa, to be honest. Talus. I'm gonna put Talus in C tier. I feel like Talus can be good, but it's just like I said, there's just everybody's better than him. Even Lex is better than him in my opinion. Yeah, he has a lot of lifesteal and he can be annoying, and his ultimate can definitely catch people out. But I feel like it's just other characters that can do it better. Yeah, okay, next up we got Terminus. I feel like Terminus is, let's put him in A. Terminus, I feel like his Q, which takes all the damage in, his shield wall kind of, is really, really good. I feel like playing him definitely can be very strong, especially his ultimate is a very good zoning tool, and also being able to come back from the dead is a really, really good way to turn fights. But yeah, I feel like they're better picks than him. I feel like he's at the end of A, so I feel like if you wanted to pick a tank, Khan is better, Makoa or Barrick obviously is better, Ashe is better, and also I think Atlas might be better too. Maybe he's on the same page as Atlas. I'm gonna put Khan up here actually, and put him over there, just so we can see them all lined up. Tiberius I think is a really good, or can be a really good DPS. I feel like he's situational though. You would actually no, I'm gonna put him in B. I'll put him at the end of A, very end of A, because like I said, I feel like other DPS like Lian or Tyra just out DPS Tiberius. Is good with his rapid fire. I think he can be really good, but I just feel like there are other picks you just want to go for instead. Next up we got Torvald. Torvald used to be S, but I feel like now with the change to Wrecker and the change to Thanks Grandpa, I feel like he's not as good anymore. He's still getting picked and banned a lot, but I feel like he's over here. I'm gonna put him, yeah, there, right behind Ashe. I feel like pocketing or pairing him up with a flanker like Androxus or even a Maeve can just be so deadly, or even an Evie actually. Just being able to give them that much more time to deal damage before getting out and just be so strong and so vital to a team comp. So I still think it's still really strong. He also has his cripple with his right click. And his small heal, but I still feel like there are other tanks you want to pick instead. But I think Torvald is still pretty good even after the nerf. Tyra, no question, she's going into S tier. Tyra's just raw DPS output is insane. If you go with the triple grenade launcher build, you have insane burst, and if you go with the cripple build, well, you're fucking up most of the tanks and quite a lot of flankers too. So I feel like just Tyra is just an extremely better version of Victor, which actually is next. And that Victor, I'm going to put him in average. Victor does have good, decent damage output. I feel like if you hit your shots and you hit a lot of headshots too, it's a lot easier to hit headshots with Victor. And you can get quite a lot of damage output, especially with your nade resets. You can get quite a lot of damage there. You do also have self healing if you go that route, but yeah, I don't think there's that much more to him. His ultimate can be good, bursting down, dealing a lot of heavy damage to bunker comps, but I feel like it's just better people to go with, to be honest. And it's only an ultimate, so you have to wait quite a while for that to actually come up. Next up we got Vivian. I feel like Vivian's on the same page as Victor. If you're on console, I think she's really good. But if you're just on PC, I wouldn't bother. Next up we got Vora. Vora I think is similar to Evie and Maeve. I feel like she can be really good. Having her invulnerability is really, really good. So I'm gonna put her on the end of this. Actually, I'm gonna put her on the same level as Skye. She has good mobility if you go with the double pulls. I forgot what they're called. But yeah, I just feel like there's better picks. I would rather have a Maeve on my team than a Vora, to be honest. She does have range, but I don't know. Jin also does a better job than her in every which way. So I'd rather have a Jin on my team, 100%. Next up, we got good old Willow. Now, Willow is very team comp reliant, I think, too. Willow is similar to Drogos. She can be really, really good, so I'm actually going to put her at the very end of A tier. Maybe, yeah, actually I'm going to put her behind Tiberius. Yeah, I feel like Willow's damage output is still the lowest in the game, I think, when it comes to DPS. But I feel like, yeah, she can be really annoying. She can really contest those high grounds really, really well, and really safe too. Unless they have a Lian or a Tyra on their team, which can just poke you out, and it's just not fun. Her ultimate can really not be fun when you have a double hit scan on their team, or even just one hit scan on their team, which is focusing you. I'm gonna leave Yagorath for the end. So next up we got Ying. Ying I think can be really good. I'm gonna put her in A tier. I think I'm gonna put her actually on the same level as Io, maybe above Io actually. I'm gonna put her on the same above Io just because she has two forms, like two kind of builds she can go. I think her damage build can be really, really, really strong. Like Ying can do unexpected damage, especially blinking between her mirrors. She can catch you by surprise essentially. Her healing build is also really, really good. Her ultimate is insane, being able to heal everybody from across the map over like I think it's like 10 seconds or something. It's a really long duration. So I think Ying can be a really, really vital pick. Definitely one of the good healers, I think. I might put her on the same level as Grover, maybe just one above Grover. I think Furia is just a bit better than her, just because of the CC that she brings. Next up we got Jhin. Jhin, I think, is the best flanker you could possibly have on your team. His mobility is insane, his damage output is insane, his deflect is also really good. He can deflect Raum's ult, which is insane. And also the fact that he has an execute, which is practically 100% health execute, is just out of this world. So I think he's great. He's a great counter to tanks. If you go with the CDR build on him too, you can get your ultimate up insanely quickly, and you can just be ulting like every which way, practically every other fight, if not every fight. So I think Jhin can be really good, and definitely needs a nerf. Next up we got Yagorath, and finally, where would Yagorath go? Yagorath obviously hasn't been out too long. I haven't seen her at all in ranked, obviously, because she hasn't been able to be picked. Now, from what I've seen from Yagorath, I think she's an average pick. I'm gonna put her there. She's not dealt with, and then she can do a lot of damage to the flank line. She can roll back and just, you know, it's on your healers, and they're gone. They're just gone. But I feel like there are other picks that are better, obviously. She has no shield, so she's more just relying on herself. Her ultimate is really good. You can one-shot somebody essentially, if you're not dealt with, which then relies on, you know, what rank you're playing at, really. So I feel like as you get up the ranks, it's just going to be worse and worse. But yeah, she's quite a versatile kid, so I think it's too early to judge her. But I think yeah, as time goes on, she might actually go up the ranks once people learn how to play her and like where she belongs in the meta. But yeah, I think she's an average pick. I don't think she needs a buff, but yeah, I think she's alright. So this is my final pick, my final tier list, I guess, for Season 4's Calamity for Paladins. Let me know what you think in the comments. If you guys have any you know, things you think I got wrong, or like wildly wrong. Maybe you think Moji actually belongs in S tier. Maybe you know, I mean, he can turn people into food and eat them. So I mean, that's pretty freaking good. He can one-shot anybody. So I don't know, it's pretty good. So yeah, thanks for watching. Let me know what you think. I do stream every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on Twitch TV, Tephrite98. So links to everything and my socials are in the description. Please leave a like and subscribe to the YouTube channel if you do enjoy this content. I'll be making a lot more of it in the future. So yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Peace.